in June, and Fox Sports is at Challenge Stadium in Perth, where the Australia Post Boomers, our very own national team, take on the Islamic Republic of Iran in Game 1 of a 3-game series as a lead-up for the Olympic Games in Beijing at the end of July. Everybody, I'm Steve Carfino, along with Andrew Vlahoff, a man who has 4 Olympic Games under his belt in his own right. And how important are these lead-up games?
Well, very important, mate. The preparation towards an Olympic is really what makes or breaks a team. This 3-game series against Iran is the first of many steps before the team heads into the village.
Brian Gorgian always worries about whatever opponent he has, and tonight is no exception. We asked him before the game about his expectations of this game and this series.
Well, I've been really happy with the guys how the guys have gone about the week, and I think tonight for us, the coaches, it's selection. You know, we're down to 17 guys that are all capable of playing on the team. We're trying to improve in the organization of our systems. So this is the first game. Obviously, the rotations will be a little bit all over the place, but we're looking forward to play a game together and just start becoming more comfortable with each other on the floor. Iran is they've jumped a lot in a short period of time. I think no one expected them to come out of the Asian Championships. They beat Lebanon in the final. They've got a guy 7-6 and another guy 7-2. So it's nice that we've got a quality team here to play. So, everything's a positive tonight.
Well, 3 guys will be making their debut for the Australian Boomers, and one of the guys is in the middle. He's played as a junior, but he's never played at the senior level. A.J. Ogilvy at Vanderbilt University did some damage as a freshman, averaging over 17 points a game and 8 rebounds. Matty Nielsen, we haven't seen him in a number of years, but he's come back to represent his country in the green and gold. David Barlow is also playing a forward for the Boomers. In the backcourt, very strong C.J. Bruton lines up at guard, and Brad Newley, who's been having a stint over in Greece, playing some basketball overseas. Off the bench, a very strong one. Patty Mills, we saw him in the New Zealand series. Damian Ryan, also James Harvey, Mark Worthington, Chris Anstey, Joe Ingles, and Sean Redhage, who's lining up for the Perth Wildcats and also for the Australian team.
Yep, it's going to be a fantastic matchup. Sean has been looking forward to this preparation, his big chance to make the team. It's going to be great.
Enrico Tollerone goes up as a coach of the Islamic team. We asked him about his expectations of the series and what he believes this Australian team is like.
I know that last 10 years, all the young category of Australian are on the top in the world, and that means that also you have a lot of players on the NCAA in the United States. And I don't know too much about these players, but I expected very strong team. I expected very tough games. But, we are coming here to get experience. That's the most important thing, because these players were never in Europe, were never in Australia. They played domestic championship, which is not so strong. We have some talented guys, you will see. And our goal is to play good game and to show character.
Well, the Iranian starters, they are going to be an interesting lot, because it's going to be a challenge off the court, but also a challenge for the commentators. Their lineup, they've been practicing all week. They have been very intensive practice. The big fella, the guy that's got a lot of media about him, Jabir, unfortunately, I don't believe he's suiting up tonight. But there are a huge number of guys. Their big guy, number 15, Haddadi, is going to be the tough guy. He had 31 points in the Asian Championship, and he is the one that the Boomers are looking to watch tonight. So, Steve, we're looking forward to a great night.
Should be a fantastic night. We have got the officials for this game, and they are Brad Gish, Damian Tice, and Brett Campbell. So they've got the tough task of trying to keep this physical play at bay. And whenever these guys are playing for what they are as a warm-up for the Olympic Games, it'll be very serious. And like we said before, these teams have never matched up against one another before, and so they'll be coming out trying to set the pace as far as intensity goes. And the style of play, it's a big mystery for the coaching staff of both of these teams, not having seen one another. They've got a wealth of players for the Australian team, and remember that Andrew Bogut still looks to join this team. Chris Anstey is lining up, of course, for the Australian Boomers. Matty Nielsen comes back after his long stints playing basketball over in Lithuania. Chris Anstey with an outstanding domestic season in the National Basketball League, where he's the most valuable player in his team. The Melbourne Tigers won the championship. So Australia is really got some talent this year, and probably have to go back to where it was Blauhoff, Gaze, Shane Heal, Luke Longley to start talking about international talent like Australia has.
Well, I think it's one of the great things that that Brian Goorjian's brung to the program, and that is a nice blend. I think we've got good balance at the moment. We're bringing some young guys in, Mills, Ogilvie. Ogilvie gets his debut tonight, which is fantastic. These guys are going to form the future of our medal assault in Beijing, and then again in Turkey and in London. But I like the look of our team at the moment, and with Bogut and Anderson coming back in, it's going to be great. Let's go to the starters of the Iranian team, and in the front court, their main man, Haddadi, is the man. 31 points in the Asian final, the man to watch. Osun Sahakian is also a tremendous forward, as well as Samad Nikkhah, who is the captain of the team. In their backcourt, number 10 is their prime shooter. He is, or during training, was fantastic. Hamad Afaq, that is, and their point guard, Nikkhah Bahrami, is quick. CJ Bruton is really going to have his hands full.
And didn't you have your hands full with those names? Well done. Absolutely outstanding. And they knocked off some big heads on the lead up to that, the Asian Championships, where they had a surprising win over Lebanon, and Lebanon was a very hot team at the time.
Yeah, they actually really overachieved. And I think coming out of those Asian Championships, people were talking about Iran, like who, how, what, how. Very interesting. They recently came back too from a tournament in Italy where they played some quality teams. They beat an Italian team, they beat a Croatian team over there. So these guys are obviously making their mark, and I think they're ranked in the top 30 in the country, in the world. And Australia needs to watch out for teams like this. They're in our pool in the Olympics, and I'm sure Brian Goorjian is going to be on their guard tonight.
I guess long gone are the days where Australia can sneak up on people. Australia is known as one of those pesky teams that you have to play and execute very well. The intensity, everybody respects Australia around the world as far as their execution, and the guys going out there and not backing down from anybody.
No, I think that's one of the great things about the reputation of Australia that's been built over the years. We never take a backward step. We will always fight to the very end of a contest, and we do have a great reputation now globally. We now get invited to tournaments where maybe back in the day, we had to pay our way to get there.
Well, as we mentioned before, Brian Goorjian has some tough decisions to make. He's got to get his roster down to 12, and there are some guys that really want to be a part of this Australian team, just as it is just before every World Championship or Olympic Games.
Well, I think you can just see that from the guys that actually missed out on the squad. Luke Kendall, Glenn Seville, they're great players, but unfortunately they're not playing tonight because the wealth of talent in the Australian team has precluded them from playing. But one of the guys that I really want to keep an eye on tonight is Paddy Mills. Paddy's coming off the bench. He is the heir apparent to the point guard position, and certainly from an Australian point of view, that is very exciting.
And you can see Darnell Mee and, like you said, Glenn Savills there on the bench, and hopefully these guys will see them in the rest of the series. Got 2 more games, one in Adelaide on Wednesday and then on Friday in Melbourne at the Cage. But Darnell Mee was another player you saw sitting there, and he was actually supposed to play today and pulled out this afternoon. Yeah,
unfortunately for Darnell, he did not pass his fitness test, which really does probably create a sense of foreboding for him, because if he's at 37 and unable to get through a training camp, there is a lot of probably doubt being cast upon his ability to last out a whole Olympic tournament.
And the players to watch for Iran, Haddadi. Like you mentioned, he had 31 points in that final game where they won in Japan. Surprised and shocked the world. 31 points, and he is a big unit.
He is a big unit. There's a small injury cloud over him. He actually does have some Achilles tendonitis, so hopefully he'll be okay and be competitive throughout the series.
Kamrani over to Afaq. Have to bear with me on these names until I get my head around it. Haddadi with the mid-range jumper is short. Good hustle, but the ball goes out of bounds.
Tough shot, that first shot. He really caught and shot that really quickly. Great to see Matty Nielsen getting right in his face.
Matty Nielsen. Brad Newley waits for a ball screen. Goes to the baseline. Jump shot from the corner is David Barlow, and he wastes no time. The Australian Boomers draw first blood with a 3.
Well, that's just the benefit of having such a big guard like Barlow on the floor. He actually is playing small forward tonight, but he can carry the ball and can shoot it.
Afag gets it to big fella in the middle. Is Haddadi off the glass. That's good. Got a nice touch with either hand.
Tough move. Look to the right, back to the left, off the glass. Really nice touch from the big fella.
Fouls on A.J. Ogilvie, and that's his first.
Well, I'm sure A.J. is a little bit nervous. A young kid, tremendous potential, but to come up against a quality international player like that, Haddadi converts, and it's 3-all.
C.J. Bruton, the point guard for the Australian Boomers. And just like that, Australia's got 2 quality point guards. Something that has been missing from the Australian Boomers for a number of years. Barlow with the turnaround jumper is no good. Kamrani may have walked, gets away with a little hop. Matty Nielsen pulls it down. C.J. Bruton has numbers to Barlow. He lines up a 3 from the wing. That's good.
Well, Barlow's out of the blocks early, and that's impressive to see. Australia with confidence pulling up for the 3 on the break. That's done his chances of selection. No harm whatsoever.
Well, he's not shy. He's got 3 shot attempts already.
It looks like the Iranian offense is going to have a funnel through Haddadi most of the night, which is understandable given he's a player of such quality.
Haddadi again from the baseline. That's a
30-second violation, unfortunately. 24-second, I should say, Steve. It's been a while since I've had the green and gold on, mate.
Well, remember, some of the differences are 10-minute quarters compared to 12-minute quarters in the National Basketball League. At the international game, we're going by FIBA rules.
Fellas, good. I'm just calling the timeout. We're getting confused now when the post is down and when the post is up. All right? You got to call him up. If he's up, we're going the dribble handoff to Dave. And Dave's coming up. And now we posting Dave and playing with you 2 on the weak side. All right? If the post is down, CJ, you're going to the net, and we're playing that action. You can feed the post and do what you do. We're just confused there. Talk when you're high. Now, you got to get that second guy up on the defensive end. Don't be afraid of doubling the guard in the backcourt. Lots of screens, so communicative. You got to fight CrossFit. Find him and don't let him get. Shuffle and flare here. Right out of here. Shuffle and flare.
Brian Goorjian making sure that his charges understand what's going on out there. Early timeout. Somewhat surprising coming out of a training camp like that. These guys are a little bit confused, but probably a bit understandable. This is the first time actually this group has been together. Matty Nielsen just joined the camp in Perth only, so he missed the first camp, but hopefully he can slot right in very easily.
Nielsen, big height advantage. Newley slashing to the hoop. Wow, that was explosive. Brad Newley.
That's one of the great things I think about Brad Newley is his explosiveness off the drill, where he can take you from the wing and he's at the basket before you know it.
Kamrani uses a high pick, gets the ball back. Shot clock down to 10. Kamrani over the top. Pull back jumper, no good. They get it right back to Haddadi. Nice pass, nice cut. Haddadi with the putback, no good. Ball squirts out to Barlow. C.J. Bruton. He'll pull up in transition. It's straight. It bounces out. Ogilvie with the offensive rebound, and another. He gets fouled. Hammered by Haddadi. And A.J. Ogilvie will go to the line.
That's great persistence from Ogilvie. He came at that very well, but here's Newley exploding from the top of the key over the big fella. And an easy 2 off the glass there, but Ogilvie contesting very well there against Haddadi. This is great experience for him. I mean, this is just money in the bank for Andrew Ogilvie. Great opportunity to play against a quality player, and he scored his first points for Australia. Good on him.
As I mentioned, dropped some serious numbers for Vanderbilt. First interview I saw him in, he was talking about his big dream was to represent Australia. He was talking about that before, you know, because everyone was talking about him as being an NBA high pick if he decided to go early in the season. And he was talking about representing Australia.
That's great. He's got that kind of focus. And I mean, as an Olympic year and a young player overseas, particularly in the US, there's a lot of guys over there. It's great to see these guys really want to pull on the green and gold and contest for Australia.
Baseline jumper is knocked down by Nikkhah. CJ Bruton with a floater off the glass. It's perfect.
I think if CJ can take that guy off the dribble all night, I think Iran is in for a very long night. They really got to work on keeping Australia out of the keyway, because I think the quickness plus our size overall is really going to wear these guys down.
Bahrami gets 2 high picks. His dribble penetration, nice little step through. He has his elbow popped by CJ Bruton. Bahrami will go to the line. Let's have a look at that little hesitation.
Very nice move. And there's Ogilvy just to make sure over the top. It's important though, CJ in an Olympic tournament, probably the most experienced point guard, stays out of foul trouble, because at the moment we got Patty Mills coming off the bench, but really if Darnell doesn't make it, they do not have a designated third ball handler, and that I think is of concern to Brian Goorjian.
Also be interesting to see how Sean Redhage goes with only being able to take one naturalized player. It'd be a tough decision between those 2 guys.
Oh, wouldn't it? I think the thing going against Sean is that Australia's got a lot of quality forwards right now, and probably had Sean been a point guard or a shooting guard, his chances may have improved.
Nikkhah handling David Barlow on that crossover dribble. That's the man in question right there, Sean Redhage. And he's just itching to get in the game.
He sure is. I know that look.
Nielsen puts it on the floor. Ball's not clean. Kamrani thought the foul was on him because he got the ball cleanly as he reached in.
That's one of the great things about Matty Nielsen too. His speed off the dribble is going to give big forwards headaches all night.
Bruton waits for the screen from Nielsen. Gets the handoff. Bruton in the lane again with the floaters good. And like you mentioned, if he keeps getting in the lane, trouble for Iran.
Well, I think it's trouble for any team that lets a point guard come down the middle uncontested, and that is just a cardinal sin.
Haddadi with all the time in the world and blew the layup.
Unlike him to miss a sitter like that. Oh, Newley's been decked. Number 14. Said, Brad, you're not coming to the keyway, but Barlow is running hot.
6'9" David Barlow has got the feel from the three-point line.
Australia in a tough defense here, in their man-to-man defense. They're relentless in not letting Iran get into the structure of their offense. And I think one thing Brian Goorjian is certainly renowned for, and that is his ability to disrupt any offense. Tough move though.
Nikkhah spins on the baseline and gets that score. Bruton, after he gets a screen from Nielsen, ball's tipped away. Iran with numbers. Nice pass, but deflected by Brad Newley.
Good hands by Brad Newley. Disappointing entry pass there from CJ. He had a great opportunity to exploit that mismatch there with Matty Nielsen, but couldn't get the delivery right. But luckily for him, Brad Newley on the other end saved his bacon. Well done, Brad.
Iran just look a little, their timing looks a little off.
It's probably a little bit understandable. They got off the plane after a massive trip from Tehran all the way to Perth here, and they arrived on Saturday afternoon. They've only had one practice session and a shoot around, so they've probably got a little bit of time, or they're going to need a little bit of time to get the kinks out in order for their offense to flow smoothly. I think from their point of view, as the coach mentioned, these guys are here to gain valuable international experience, and an opponent like Australia, who is in their pool in the Olympics, is going to be, you know, excellent competition for them.
And our apologies if we are not doing justice to these names. We've been running around trying to get help from anyone.
Well, I think the 12th man would have a field day with some of these guys. but there's actually a couple of even more difficult ones that aren't playing tonight, thankfully. But I'm sure we'll see them later in the week. But I actually like the way that the Serbian coach here has got this team playing. Very controlled at the moment. Yeah, they're a couple down, but really it's because David Barlow's dropped 3 threes. And otherwise it'd be probably a bit more of an even contest.
And a couple of shots missed by their big man, Haddadi. He made a great move, but just wasn't able to finish it off. It'd be a completely different game. And a lot of ifs in there.
Reminds me of a saying Ninja Gaze used to have. Operation successful, however, patient died on the table. But he makes some serious amends there. Nice one off the glass by Haddadi.
Haddadi with that soft touch and multiple pivots down there. Reminds me of David Stiff. Anstey, always a threat from the three-point line. Barlow, nice pass back out to Chris Anstey. He puts it on the floor. The runner off the glass is no good. Haddadi with a board. Kamrani, Nikkhah spins. Oh, nice one off the window.
The Gypsy Doodle after the spin move, impressive from Nikkhah.
Everybody running over there thinking that there was something. Here's another look at that spin move.
That is a nice move. That is a big-time move. Chris Anstey losing in the background. He gets under, off the glass. Very tidy move.
Teammates very excited. They're up on the bench. Very happy with that move. Number 21 comes into the game. That's Babak Paknajad, sorry. Patty Mills also for a strike. He turns the corner, tries the up and under. And that was gloved by Haddadi.
He's a little bit unlucky there for a move that, yeah.
Oh my.
That was clean. And again, he has to be extremely careful about foul trouble. Big fella goes out. The Iran offense is going to have to go to a new look.
Boy, that would definitely be plan B as often as they go into the middle, like you say. It's like a funnel. Everything goes through it. In their half court, every time they've lined up in their half court offense, he's touched the ball.
I think the Serbian coach is no dummy. He is going to make sure that his best players handle the ball.
A trap just over half court by Barlow and Nielsen. And Kamrati makes the turnover.
Who is 13 today, and also Nat, one of our dancers, is celebrating a birthday.
Barlow.
I've said happy birthday to you, but happy birthday.
Nielsen. Newley gets the ball screen, looking to turn the corner. Barlow's had the hot hand. Nice seal by Matty Nielsen and an excellent pass by Chris Anstey.
That was a nice combination. High-low, Matty got the seal. He pointed to the high post to get the ball there, and Chris did the rest for him.
Patty Mills from behind. Kamrati. Steps through, nice pass. Ball's thrown off the leg of Haddadi. Mills in transition. Newley gets it to Dave Barlow, the hot man from the three-point line, continues his shooting.
Barlow has been impressive so far.
Afug to Kamrani. Australia's defensive pressure giving Iran some trouble. Nikkhah. He looks like he's adjusted to the pace of this game. Here's another look at that seal.
Great play by Matty Nielsen. The trick to that is to sucker that guy in, make him play high side and get it delivered straight to your door.
That's a guard's nightmare as Sean Redhage comes back into the game to switch off on a big guy, and you got to try and get on the high side so he doesn't get the ball in the post, and then he seals you and gets a dunk. You can't win when you get down there.
No, you got to exploit it. Great to see Sean Redhage into the game in the first quarter. I'm sure he's going to be anxious and eager to impress, not only in front of his home crowd, but for the selectors.
Both teams going to their bench. Nice pass, Patty Mills, another one from Chris Anstey. Mills knocks it loose. Diving out of bounds, but it'll go to Iran.
Chris Anstey's passing ability is exceptional for his size. Couple that with his three-point abilities, and you can understand why he's the league MVP. He's been had a great season this year, and it's great to see him back in green and gold colours, actually. He's been away from the national team for the last couple of years, but it's great to see him back in there.
Davadi, he can't get that one to go over Chris Anstey. Australian transition. Mills loses his footing. He's fouled.
You get 50 metres for that in the AFL, mate. I think you've got a little shove, just a little tap there. Oh, it's not much. He got legged a little bit, but nearly skittled one of the Iranian players. Patrick visited a group of fans in a correctional facility earlier on in the week who'd made a mural of him. A fantastic, I think, honour for Pat. He's got a reputation outside of Perth, but here he's one of their favourites.
And it really gives Australia not just a boost at the point guard spot, but a very electrifying game. A lot of fun to watch. Nikkhah out from the baseline. Three-point shot is good by a Fug.
I saw Amada Fug shoot in practice in the shooting drills, and he did not miss too many. He's got a lovely stroke, high arch. Barlow again. Is he still hot? He's cooled off a fraction.
Looked a little out of rhythm. He shot it anyway because he hasn't missed.
Why wouldn't you? Andrew Gay's theory, if it feels like leather, it's going up.
Yeah, he's got a lot of theories like that about shooting. Redhage to Anstey. Catch and shoot. Australia red hot outside the three-point line.
Australian team is certainly making their mark from beyond the arc.
Davadi reaching in. Yeah, Sean Redhage picks that one up. Davadi was fouled, so he'll go to the line. And often when you play a team that's physical like Australia, very up and in and all over the floor and active hands, it does take a little while to make some adjustments.
Definitely. I think when I was playing for the Boomers, we used to use our defense as the tool for our offense to disrupt these guys. We not necessarily always had the talent, but defensively we were a great unit and always covered for one another, which it felt like there were 6 guys out there on the floor, and hopefully this current crop of Boomers can do that as well.
Worthington goes backdoor. Chris Anstey, that's about the first bad pass he's thrown. How can you explain how guys used to just get another leg when they played for Australia?
It's a phenomenon, and I think anyone that's ever represented Australia or even in the defence forces, represented your country, you do grow another foot. You get prouder, you get everything. It's a serious adrenaline rush.
Mills to Mark Worthington. He turns the corner. Redhage from the baseline. That'll make this crowd happy.
I think that'll make Sean very happy and Brian Gorgon very happy.
Yeah, he could have been nervous, but he looks like he's fitting right in with the Australian Boomers. Like you mentioned, he might have to go outside a little bit more. He made a very quick adjustment.
Well, it's fair to say he knows almost every inch of this floor, and I think that may be another advantage that he can exploit this evening.
A Fug to Nikkhah, who's having quite a handy game for Iran.
It's good to see the Iranians aren't too shy either. Oh, my Lord.
Redhage puts the ball on the floor, just misses a floater. A Fug Gets that jumper going. Anstey pulls down the rebound. Here comes Australia. Patty Mills.
Australia just need to just take a moment and a breath just to compose themselves, to get back into rhythm and get back to their game plan. I think they're getting a little bit too NBL-ish right now, and I think we'll see Brian make those adjustments.
Long shot, can't find the mark by Haddadi, and that's the end of the first quarter with Australia with some impressive shooting, notch up 33 points to 22. The Iranian national team, and remember, 33 points in a 10-minute quarter is a lot of points.
That is a heck of a lot of points, and I think Australia needs to be very wary of that, because when you play against some of the other quality European sides, they are not going to let you have that kind of up and down game. They are going to really try and suffocate the ball and make it a possession game, utilise their size. Australia has been, well known for three-point shooting with Gaze, Hill, etc. over time, but I think one of the things that Brian needs to do is get these guys to play much more European.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll see what Australia does after the Boomers World Challenge, and Australia up 33 to 22 on some red-hot shooting by both of these teams.
Sensational shooting. I mean, together both teams are a combined 9 of 13. Australia lighting it up, 6 of 9. But Iran, no slouch, is 3 of 4 either. And I think if Australia is going to be competitive in Beijing and push for a medal, they need to shoot the ball at probably a clip. It's not quite as good as 66%, but certainly, in the high 40s to low 50s maybe from the three-point line, and that would give them a significant edge over some of the other teams.
Iran starting to get a feel for the intensity and the pace of the Australian team. Very focused, Got a couple of fouls. Looked like they really didn't need to go their way, but no complaining. Stick to the business at hand.
Right. Good to see some real injection of youth here too, with Pat Mills and Joe Ingles playing in the backcourt together. I mean, that could form the future in the next couple of Olympics. And Joe, he may be young, but he certainly knows how to do the veteran soccer play. He'd get an Academy Award for that, I think.
There's some size that he has got on Kamrati.
Sean, tough turnaround, unfortunately. Worried out of it by the big fella Haddadi. Iran straight back down their throats down the other end, and this is what I'm talking about. The track meet that's going on right now is really going to be tough for the Australians to adjust to when they play some of the quality European sides.
Some pretty messy basketball happening as Haddadi gets a bad pass. Ingles in transition, he finishes. We'll get another look at it. And that one's on Davati. Javad Davati. As Joe Ingles tries to finish off a three-point play in Australia, just picking up where they left off from the first quarter. Ingles finishes off the three-point play.
They've gone to their trapping half-court defense, and this is not necessarily to try and steal the ball, but more to milk the clock. I think you'll see them maybe even drop back to a zone. They're going to try a couple of different combinations defensively during this series in order to get it right for Beijing. And I think the Iranians will be equal to the task.
Everybody, come on.
Get a look at it. Davati. Kamrani. They want to get it back in. Running out of time. Shot clock down to 5. Kamrani launches one up. Anstey pulls it down. Here come Australia. Nice pass to Joe Ingles. Redhage can't pull down the O board. Kamrani waits for his help. Nikkhah for 3. Anstey gets it to Worthington. A sloppy handle, but Patty Mills, little scoop shot. Anstey pulls down the offensive rebound.
I think Australia just needs to settle down a little bit, get into a rhythm, and look to exploit their advantages.
Redhage is fouled on the putback. He'll go to the strike. We get another look as Anstey that was an odd-looking play.
This up and down basketball, I mean, it's somewhat like tennis. My head is going side to side to side. Both teams, I think, are itching to play. And I know Australia, having practiced all week, dying to play in a game. They're sick of training. They got their jets on today. It's a track meet. Substitutions. Looks like CJ may be coming back into the game. Replace Mills, perhaps just to put a calm, more experienced feeling amongst the group as Matty Nielsen also checks back in for Anstey to give Chris a rest. But Worthington, Ingles still out there, and I think Joe's athleticism up and down the court has been another highlight of the game. Redhage good for his first one.
That foul was on Ocean Shahakian.
Talking about selection between or on the Australian team, I think Mark Worthington and Sean Redhage, who were great competitors throughout the season, are possibly going to be going head-to-head for that selection position, which makes it interesting, certainly in training, but also in a game.
Yeah, I think that had something to do with a little animosity in the playoffs. Nikkhah. Offensive rebound is put back in by number 21, Babek Najad.
That was a nice play. He's actually shot the ball well in practice, and he's probably one of the more athletic guys on the Iranian team.
Redhage for three. Never looked like missing. Sean Redhage.
Well, I think Sean is definitely focused tonight, and I think Brian is going to have to seriously look at taking Sean, and certainly poor old Darnell. Doesn't help that he's injured on the side there. He's probably wondering, damn, Sean, made another one.
I'm sure they're all thinking that at that position. You'd be thinking that at the small power forward position. This trap by Australia giving Iran some trouble. Bahrami.
Australia's in a 2-3 or a 1-3-1 matchup zone. It's very interesting, but it's causing the Iranian. Oh, great block. Great block by Joe. He looked like Superman heading out of the court there.
Amir Amini.
The shot clock expired. Look at that. That is some serious elevation.
Yeah, he thought he had a good look. Ingles kicks it out to Matty Nielsen. Ooh. Very close to being over the line. Well, Iran get it back anyway. Amini. Hands foul by Matty Nielsen. Perth crowd trying to give Iran some encouragement. Shot after the whistle goes down. Timeout on the floor to the Australia Post Boomers.
I think Australia needs to really consider what they're doing with the ball and their efficiency at the moment. Too many turnovers, some poor shots. They got a little bit ahead of themselves. Everyone thought they were as red hot as Barlow. Not the case. But let's see what Brian's got to say.
We got to stay organized. All right? We got to stay organized. Slow that thing down on the catch and recut. All right? So let's do this now. Let's go horn set now and work the horn set, or we've got Matty down and we're in punch or post speed on the run. If we're not in that, we want the horn set with you two guys there. Matty, you're pick and roll, you're pick and pop. Look at him and look to play off him down low. Anytime you can get on either one of these guys and run our action off it. Matty, when you catch on the elbow, look to play. So when we hit here, CJ, down here and play with that guard, and we got the down screen on the weak side. We're horns here. Here we go. Boomer. Good D here. Good 6 minutes. Good 6 minutes.
Oh, Sean Redhage starting to light it up. Who are some of the guys that are in danger of missing a spot if he makes the team?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, I think there's a lot of similarities between what he and Mark Worthington bring to the table. I would say, you know, you give the defensive edge to Mark Worthington, but the offensive edge to Sean Redhage. The big fella inside for the Ramajama. I don't know. I think he's going to, if he continues to play well and defends well, you know, it's going to be tough to keep him out of the side.
Is he a 3-man or a 4-man for Australia?
Oh, he's only a 3-man. There's no way he'll play 4. At the moment, the way that the competition is, Matt Nielsen is going to probably play a little bit of 4 and even maybe some 3 when you bring back Bogan and Anderson into that lineup. That makes Australia huge across the front line and certainly a potent force up front.
Worthington into Redhage. They're working the 1-2. Didn't think you'd see that if you were watching the playoffs between Perth and the Sydney Kings.
Well, you know what? I spoke to Mark afterwards, and you know what? He's extremely professional. I couldn't have been more impressed with him as an individual. Talk about a guy that's focused, and like I think he's old school. Hey, what happens on the court happens on the court, and their mates off the court. And I think what you know, in talking to Mark, all he wants to do is see Australia win. It's great.
Nielsen to Redhage. He puts it on the floor, gets to the rim. Nice pump fake, misses the sitter.
Disappointing for Sean. Got the big fella in the air, went around him with the left and just rolled out of the ring.
Kamrani. Haddadi with the high post screen. Gets it down low. Nowhere to go. 2 Australian boomers all around him. Nielsen comes up with a loose ball. Redhage with numbers. Brad Newley from the corner. Nielsen with the putback.
Well, Iran did not get back on defense. Left the point guard and the off guard to battle Matty Nielsen for that offensive rebound. They need a bit more commitment than that.
Haddadi didn't even make it past the opposite free throw line. He wants the ball. That's where he does his damage on the offensive end. 17-footer's good.
Tough shot, and when they really needed it too, the lead in danger really blowing out there, come up with a big bucket.
CJ Bruton can't contain Kamrani. That's illegally done. Who picks that one up? Sean Redhage picks up the body foul. Ooh, might have got away with a little bit of a hook. Kamrani.
James Harvey joins the lineup, first time into the game. He's one of the pure shooters that are probably going to be looked at straight away. Exploited immediately, unfortunately. Someone better tell him who he's got.
Had a glance over at the bench. Surely he couldn't come out that quick. Kamrani with the steal. Little ball fake, can't get the layup to go, but a good tip. I believe the tip was knocked down by Amin Zandi.
Worrying sign for Iran with Haddadi bent over, trying to recover. I think he's had enough of this track meet. He wants to get back down to a little half-court post and grind game. Harvey from the corner, it's good. Only a 2, I think. Had his foot on the line, no?
James Harvey getting one down. Gets a serious look as a Boomer after he's played with the assistant coach for the Boomers, Brendan Joyce. Told me he needed to work on his defense.
I think James has really done that this season, and certainly in the camp that I've watched. He's made a commitment to his body. He looks fantastic, in great shape, and I think that's really helped him really getting down and low to defend these quick guards. We all know he can shoot it, but his ability to make this team is going to rely not on his ability to shoot the ball, but on his ability to stop people.
Substitutions out on the floor. Kamrani goes to the bench for Iran. Matty Nielsen for Australia. Anstey's back in. Harvey gets another look. Redhage knocks it back to his teammate. Ball's free. Kicks it to CJ. Anstey lines up from the 3-point line. 5 boomers outside the 3-point line on that possession.
Doesn't look like Australia needs too much offense. Offensive structure. It's if you're outside the 3, why not jack it?
Zandi, his jumper's off the mark. Newley showing you his speed. Ball's knocked free. Somebody please pick it up. Goes to Australia. A Fug couldn't get the handle on it. Anstey, he's got a good look, but somebody finally turns down a 3. Redhage to Harvey. His little fadeaway jumper going left. Anstey mistimed it. He's fouling. Who's he fouled? A Fug. Chris Anstey picks up the personal. We'll get another look. Harvey, a little off-balance J.
Make sure you pick up your official Australian supporters gear.
Substitutions for Iran, but perhaps an omission that's of note is David Barlow has not made it back into the game after such a hot start. He came out of the blocks like a house on fire and is yet to hit the court again.
Maybe he made the team.
Maybe he did. He said, that's enough. Sit down, young fella.
And a very poor turnover. That pass by Haddadi.
I think both these teams really need to take a good look at their disposals. I mean, unforced errors like that can cost you medals. And in a competition like the Olympics, you do not get a second chance. That possession is gold. They got to guard it with their life. And I'm hopeful that Australia is going to make that adjustment. I mean, they're up 11. The game is cruising at their speed, but really we've got to look at this not as a game to beat Iran, but as preparation for the Olympics and how we are going to combat the super powerhouses of world basketball. And certainly from, I think, Brian's point of view, the unnecessary errors, the up and down, some of the unnecessary threes, I think they're going to have a bit of a talk about that at halftime.
As we talk about the game, the entertainment here at Challenge Stadium, always good.
Well, I know what that website is, mate. It's westaustralia.com. Well positioned. For all our fans out there, Western Australia is a fantastic place to be. They call it the greatest city in the greatest country on earth.
Well, you had to study marketing at Stanford.
Well, it's great to see, actually, Vince Corp WA getting behind a contest like this. It's not often that the Australian team comes to Perth, and in fact, 2005 was the last time Australia was here, so we're certainly keen to have them and would like to continue to have them.
CJ Bruton gets the inbound. Sean Redhage setting that screen in the backcourt. CJ with that serious handle handed down from his daddy, Cal Bruton Sr. One of the greats, also represented Australia. Anstey from the 3-point line. James Harvey keeps it alive. Ball goes to Nikkhah. Haddadi. Haddadi gives him the high screen. A Fug gets it in to Haddadi. He spins the outstretched arm of Chris Anstey. Bothers him. Here come Australia. Newley. Good pass into Anstey. Oh, they missed that one.
They missed the goaltending call there. Chris upset about that. Clearly off the glass and clearly on the way down. Retain possession, Haddadi.
There's the makeup call.
Animated, but out of luck.
We'll get another look at that when he puts it off the glass. And Haddadi gets the hand up
there. He may have just got that on the end. I don't know. It's a tough call. You couldn't really see from there, but from here, it certainly looked like a goaltend. This will be interesting. We've got a couple of key possessions here as we end this first half. And what are we going to go to here as Australia?
Sean Redhage might have shuffled those feet. He can't get the floater to go. Usually that is his bread and butter. Haddadi. Bad pass by Paknajada. Babak Paknejad. It'll be a 3-game series. Hopefully we'll be able to get our names, the names of the Iranian team ironed out in the second half. Australia gets another score. Lead goes out to 47-34. But a 3-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Afag. To Nikkhah. Reaching foul against Australia. In the bonus, reaching in. At the top, I believe, is James Harvey. And Haddadi goes to the line. Their leading scorer is no mystery as every possession goes through his hands in their half-court sets. Iran having a little bit of trouble of finishing those drives to the hoop with the size of Australia and the physical play. CJ Bruton with Davadi on him. CJ's got to get one off. Anstey just before the buzzer sounds, and that's it at halftime. Chris Anstey's missed, but Australia have made plenty. 47-35 here at Challenge Stadium in Perth. Australia with a quick start in the first quarter, and their three-point shooting kind of slowed down, but still very dominant in this game. Andrew Vlahoff has the hot shooting Dave Barlow on the sideline.
David, fantastic start to the game. You came out like a house on fire, 4 threes. What did you have for breakfast, mate?
The regular Special K. You know, just fortunately a couple of them went in and gave us a good buffer, and we've kept it, and hopefully in the second half push it out a bit further.
What are your impressions so far about Iran? Interesting, we've never seen them in the international competition before. What do you think?
They're big, they're thick, they pound it inside, and they've been pretty good when they go inside. You know, we're not going to blow them out. It's going to be a battle. This is one team if the Olympic team needs to beat in order to get to the second round, and we're doing it at the moment, and let's push it out a bit further.
All right, Dave, great first half. Thanks very much. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Challenge Stadium, where the Boomers lead Iran 47-35. It's been an interesting contest so far, quite up and down, but we've had some fantastic performances. And one of them there in the crowd is Malcolm Richmond, who works for Australia Post. And Malcolm has won his way to the Beijing Olympics to deliver the mail for the Australian Olympic team. One of only 3 people in Australia, or 3 posties in Australia. Australia Post has provided the opportunity. One of their employees, mate, he's going to be going around the village. He's going to be seeing everyone. How good a prize is that?
Did he look like the happiest person in Challenge Stadium? He's doing the chants, he's standing up. And whenever you see somebody win such a substantial prize, you hope it's somebody that really appreciates it, and I think he's a candidate for that.
I agree. Well, I'm sure he's a big fan of the Australian team, like many people here tonight. Cold, wet day in Perth, which is strange, Steve. But we've had some of the most interesting weather this week. It's great to see so many people come out and support Australia.
I'm an avid watcher of the Weather Channel, and I could not believe my eyes when I saw that it was raining. I didn't bring my golf clubs.
Well, I should have brought my gumboots last week, because I came outside to take my son to basketball, and I was nearly knee-deep in water in my garage. It's unbelievable. We've had the wettest winter in 30 years, and in fact the wettest April in 100 years.
Wow. Well, it hasn't dampened the spirits of the faithfuls here at Challenge Stadium, and what a great job they do here. It's just funny not seeing the sea of red. They all wear the same colored tops.
Well, we've got some gold there. The Australia Post Go Boomer shirts look like they've been very popular, matching the boys' jerseys. We're about to get the second half underway, and it looks like Iran's gone back to their starting 5, as have the Boomers, and we'll look to see how David Barlow, whether he has cooled off enough, or is he going to heat up again?
Bahrami still running the point. I believe the only difference is Oshin Sahakian is in foul trouble. He's got 4 fouls. That'll go back to Iran. And that's a tradition here at Challenge Stadium. They stand up until the opposing team scores?
The home team scores its first 2, which I don't think will be very long, the way the Australian team's been going.
Afag. Nice pass. Ooh, he might have shuffled those feet. The score by Babek Patnajad. A.J. Ogilvie to Nielsen. He lines up the 3. That's long. Kamrani. 10-point game.
Well, it seems to me that Iran has visibly slowed down their transition in order to make it a possession game, which is, I think, smart on their behalf. Even though they're down, I think their plan is to go inside and work the Boomers as much as possible, and that narrows it to 8. We've got a game on our hands here.
Nikkhah with the score. Samed Nikkhah. C.J. Bruton for 3. That's good.
C.J. Bruton, he is so tough coming off that high pick and roll. If you aren't with him, he will shoot it in your eye like he just did then. And I'm sure Kamrani is going to get an understanding of what it is to play against C.J. Bruton tonight.
We saw him at the World Championships, and there weren't many people that could stay in front of him. Afag. Haddadi from the baseline. Tough shot. Brad Newley gobbles it up. Newley loses his footing.
Newley really, as a transition player, he's probably one of the best on the team. But I think, again, he needs to just concern himself with some composure in order to cement his place in this side. I think that's one of the dangers that some of these guys are running right now, is they don't want to get caught up in it too much. Sure, run when the option's there, but certainly not a turnover.
Everybody clapping.
And there's a wealth of guys waiting for their opportunity on the bench for the Australian Boomers.
Well, we had some good production off the bench. Sean Redhage there had 8 points in probably as many minutes. He didn't seem out of place internationally at all. Matty Nielsen works it in there to the young fella Ogilvie. Thrown out by Haddadi, but recovers nicely. Barlow with the ball straight down the middle and up and over Haddadi. Well, Barlow's back in the thick of things again.
Went right at the body of Haddadi, who walks up the court, not happy. Afag. Again, the pressure of the Boomers starting to pay its toll. Nikkhah. He tries to get to the rim. Baseline jumper is no good. Haddadi with the putback.
That is a serious reach. He looked like he took that ball up about top of square level and just dropped it back in nicely.
Ogilvie to Bruton. In rhythm. C.J. Bruton from the 3-point line.
C.J. is looking very focused right now. I think they're in trouble if he can get his iron like that. He is just going to grow with confidence, and that rim is just going to look like the ocean from a boat.
Haddadi. Out to Nikkhah. He's off the mark. He's cooled off. Here comes Newley. He's trapped. Stops in a dangerous area. Good ball reversal. Back to C.J. It's straight. It's good.
Good night, Iran. C.J. Bruton deep.
3 straight threes.
He's the new Barlow.
He's pumped it up to 17 points for the Australia Post Boomers. Kamrani for deep. He tries to match C.J. Good hands. C.J. in a crowd. Showing you his skills. Ogilvy, baseline.
Ogilvy may have been a little bit unlucky there. That looked like a definite hands foul from Haddadi. But interesting to note, CJ Bruton had another opportunity to shoot another three, yet the veteran in him just knew that the tempo wasn't right. He kicked it on and looked for the open man. That's impressive. And that's exactly what we need from CJ Bruton for the Olympics. That significant backcourt leadership with a cool, calm and collected head on his shoulders.
Nikkhah gets the high screen from Haddadi. Turns the corner, runs into Matty Nielsen. It looked like he jumped straight up in the air.
He's unlucky there. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be called internationally too often. Matt Nielsen, a little bit unfortunate there. The Boomers have gone to a pure switching defense, which is difficult sometimes for teams that have not played against it. It's smart of Brian to throw that in there to test Iran, and also to give the Boomers players a little bit more time with it. But in a defense like that, you could end up with CJ Bruton guarding Haddadi, and that's probably not something CJ wants to do.
CJ Bruton with the hot hand. Also the distributor for the Boomers. Gets it back from Nielsen. Skip pass to Jay Barlow, the hot man from the first half. A.J. Ogilvy gets it back to Barlow. CJ kicks it, that extra pass to Newley. Haddadi. The Camarati kicks it to Nikkhah. Good hands by Newley.
The Serbian coach is up off his seat and is giving the classic European, what about that?
Great hands by CJ Bruton. And on top of the ball. No argument from Nikkhah. Then again, no argument from any of the Iranian players.
Well, the margins jumped out to 15, which is only a three-point addition to the first half. Australia yet to put the nail in the coffin.
Iran had a good start, slowing the tempo down from the beginning. Barlow to Anstey. He's fouled. He'll go to the strike.
There's good penetration there. Barlow got all the way inside, drew every defender, and they had to collapse onto Anstey, who used his smarts, just gave him the eyebrow fake, and everyone hit the roof, and he's going to go to the line for an easy two.
We hear about the height of David Barlow, but until you stand next to him, you're reminded the man is 6'9".
6'10" with that haircut too, I think. Anstey good with the first and the second. I think Chris is another guy that's going to play a really important role on this team with his seniority and leadership. Tough move by Nikkhah down the middle over the top of everybody. But Chris just, looks like he took one extra step there. But Chris, with his experience and, as I said, with his seniority, he's going to provide a backbone to the leadership of this group. Very important that he and CJ form a big part of that. Matty Nielsen in there as one of the more senior members of the group.
Nikkhah loses the handle. Felt like he was fouled while he was delivering that pass.
Patty Mills has slipped into the lineup, unnoticed, giving CJ a little bit of a rest.
Anstey over the top of that mismatch with Camarati. Anstey with a floater.
Shot clock was running down. That's not a normal shot for Chris, but he realised he only had 1 second to catch and get it off, and he did what he could so that the clock didn't expire. What he was trying to do, though, was get the ball down to Sean Redhage, who had the point guard on him. And unfortunately, Sean couldn't control it to deliver the goods.
A fog. And get it back to Camarati. deflection again by Australia. They've got numbers. Mills puts on the Jets and gets the layup. Big time speed.
That is quickness personified. Great to see Patty Mills get in that open court, turn on his Jets and blow everyone away.
Bahrami loses the handle. Another Iranian turnover. Skips it to Mills. The floater off the glass.
Well, Patty Mills having an immediate impact on the game. Coaches want to talk it over. The Iranian coach, Reiko Toraman, not happy. And there's Patty Mills, high off the glass and easy too.
Very tough shot made to look easy, and Brian Gorgon will talk to his troops.
Let's play off Chris in the post a lot now, all right? We want to come down the floor, get it to the wing and dump it in there, or take the ball down the floor in transition, go opposite. Chris is opposite the ball. The guard will get through. Here, and in, and play off it, all right? Or here, and bring him to the ball, all right? Four-man hold. Let this guy cut through. What do you got?
There's a man with the hot hand in the second half, C.J. Bruton. Great distributor of the ball, but when it's his turn to put the ball in the basket, he knows how to do that too. Lighting it up outside the three-point line. 3 straight threes, and also on the other end, getting it done on the defense with the quick hands and the steal. Nikkhah, 13 points and 3 assists.
With 3 minutes to go in this quarter, clearly I don't think CJ is going to play again in this quarter, maybe not for the rest of the game. I think we've probably seen enough from CJ. He's booking his ticket to Beijing for sure, but now it's going to be interesting to see what Pat Mills can bring to the table as his heir apparent.
I reckon he's a lock too.
I think you might be right.
Defense is the word.
Baseline jump shot by Paknajad. Babak Paknajad.
Damien Ryan making his first appearance this evening. Purest shooter, currently playing in Italy right now. Barlow easily through to the middle.
Redhage with the offensive rebound, but he can't stay inside the line. Perpetual motion, Sean Redhage. Get a body on him.
Sean is someone that will come at you 24/7, 365, and he's actually got longer arms than you give him credit for. He's got a decent reach on him. He can get up and get those offensive boards.
Bahrami, Damien Ryan into the game for the first time for Australia. Bahrami gets by him but can't get the finish.
Barlow, a little bit of a love tap in the back of Haddadi just to let him know he's there.
I think that's the difference between the two teams is Iran's inability to finish once they do get into the lane on dribble penetration.
Well, they meet a sea of yellow, and I think the Australians are doing a very good job of protecting their home turf. That is such important real estate, that inner keyway.
Nikkhah, nice pass to Davadi.
This is what I talked about in the first half. We got possession. You got to look after the ball if you want to win medals.
Amir Amini with the steal and the drive. Just what Iran needed. Give and go. Damien Ryan can't get the finish. Bahrami. They need to slow it down, and they will. Amini, he's made an impact since he's come into the game. Mills. Bahrami to Nikkhah, puts it on the floor. Shot off the window. Nikkhah's got a rhythm for this game.
That's a hell of a nice move there by Nikkhah. He came from the baseline side, cut inside, and then off the glass with a floater that never looked like missing.
That's his 20th point. Redhage puts it on the floor, a little floater in front of the rim. Nice soft touch, Sean Redhage.
That's Sean's money spot, I think, right there. Top of the key, inside the defense there. He does not miss many of those.
Haddadi to Nikkhah. He's sizing up Dave Barlow. Runs in to Anstey, lines up the three, that's long. Good hustle by Amini. Baseline jumper is no good from Haddadi.
Well, Chris is not going to be happy with that. He felt like he had position. They were both in the contest. Haddadi looking for a respirator in Mackerel's box.
Haddadi is blowing.
Well, we'll see the effectiveness of this because in the fourth quarter, when the chips are down, fitness is going to play a role. And if Haddadi can't compete because he's too tired, well, in Australia, he's going to have a definitive edge.
Haddadi to Kamarani. Ball's knocked free, but he's fouled. Grabbed his arm.
Chris Anstey, 2 shots.
Fouls on Chris Anstey.
Nikkhah Bahrami.
Draco Toraman wanted a shooting foul on that one.
I think that's probably stretching the friendship. I think he was just in there to deliver the ball, so I think the referee's made the correct call there. And he makes his first. Kamani looks like he's going to log some serious minutes too throughout the tournament as their premier point guard.
They look completely different when he's not in. Patty Mills, a very good freshman year at St. Mary's University, Northern California. Redhage for three.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but that's 3 of 3 from the three-point line for Sean Redhage. And if he's going to get a Guernsey to go to Beijing, that's exactly what he has to do.
Well, that's the end of the third quarter. The Australian Boomers up 68-52 here at Challenge Stadium. Welcome back, the Boomers World Challenge between the Australian Boomers and the Iranian national team. Brian Gorgic.
All man now. All man D. Hold on. Hang with me. First possession, 10-15. All right, Barlow, you're in the 2 spot. One man's going through. All right, Chris, you're playing off Chris. Wertho, you're filling behind. Chris and Barlow. Now, if you don't have it, you got Wertho and Patty. All right, here we go. Boom. Dave, 2 guard spot. Throw to him and cut through.
Brian Gorgic giving defined instructions there to the Australian team. And I noticed in the last time out, Brian and Chris Anstey having a little bit of interaction. He obviously respects the veterans' input. And he asked Chris, have you got something? You got a little pearl in there for us? And it looked like Chris came up with something special. The Aussies inbound to Mills in the backcourt. And let's see how well the Australians run this play.
Barlow, pull-up jump shot. Like he hesitated at the top. Didn't matter. He's on fire.
It looks like he almost hitches it. He's got such a funny release.
Nick on a nice pass to Haddadi. And he drops it out of bounds. Anstey pokes it away. Good press breaker from Iran. That's how you attack full court pressure. Kamarani. Hands in by Patty Mills.
During the week, Brian Gorgic was very emphatic with the guards about playing with their hands out and just playing defense with their chest. And Pat and the rest of the guards are really going to have to learn to do that because they will call hands fouls no end at the Olympics. small technical issue. Ball bounded by Iran.
Pass down to... Look at the footwork on that. Can't get that one to go. Mills with the speed. Having a little trouble running with the Australian. Haddadi. Just like you say, the fitness here in the fourth quarter will tell.
They go to Adelaide for a game on Wednesday and then to a game on Friday in Melbourne. So I think Haddadi is going to log some serious kilometres and some serious minutes. Barlow from deep opens up the lead. It's now 21 points and in danger of really getting out of hand. If Iran doesn't get to the well and get a couple of easy buckets to stem the flow, I think the Australians are really starting to grow in confidence. And except for Barlow, we've got everyone from the bench.
Barlow, 19 points on 7 of 9 shooting from the field. Haddadi with the tip in. He has got some long arms. Anywhere near the hoop, he is involved in that play. A little shove from Mark Worthington didn't matter. Good finish. Patty Mills for 3. Go behind the screen. It goes off the shot clock. And that's a violation.
Well, Pat, I think, could have get that shot any time and probably maybe could have looked at taking that guy back off the pick and down the middle to free up either Anstey or Worthington.
Defense is away. Come on.
Amrani. Haddadi. That's the option they want. That should count.
That should count. Haddadi going to work in the middle. Chris can't let him catch the ball that low because he can go to work. Once he puts the ball on the floor and gets his rhythm, he's pretty tough. I think he's got an 8-foot wingspan.
Oh, he's got extremely long arms. Mills with the little floater off the glass. I think that was a pass.
Recovered nicely to scoop it off the floor and up and in. That was a very interesting shot there from Pat.
He's exciting. Ball's thrown out of bounds by number 5, Amir Amini.
Check this shot out off the glass over the 7'2", but scoops it off the floor for an easy 2. One man's trash, another man's treasure.
I think that started off looking like a pass, but I think he saw that Anstey wasn't going to be able to turn the corner. I'm going to give him that credit.
Fair enough.
Give him the benefit of the doubt.
Fair enough.
That would have been ugly if that was always going to be a shot. Barlow, nice pass to Anstey. Can he reel it in? Can't handle it.
That was a difficult pass.
Shouldn't say nice pass. That was a tough one to catch.
Yeah. I think Chris moving to the hoop like that probably needs it dropped in front of him, not behind him. One thing about David Barlow that really does impress me is actually his athleticism and his ability to handle the ball with both hands. He can go left, right, off the dribble with speed. That will surprise a lot of people, and I think that he's done that tonight.
Moran going to the bench. Amini takes over the point guard position. Sahakian into the game. He had 4 fouls early. He hasn't played much. That's Sahakian right there. Nikkhah. Davadi. Tamini. Ball's down low. Tough shot. Number 22. Doragi.
Nabi Poor. He's in the game to give Haddadi some minutes on the bench, but I don't think that's his best shot. I like his footy socks though.
Anstey gets him in the air. Somehow Anstey gets it back. Out to Joe Ingles. His shot's long. Amini. Baseline. Bad pass. Anstey pulls it in.
Australia's done a very good job of getting their fingertips and their hands on balls that probably the Iranians didn't expect them to. It's great defense, good hustle. get a couple of tips like that, you know, a couple of plays. It makes all the difference. Some luminaries in the crowd. Luke Longley, right behind the Australian bench. Three-time world champion with the Chicago Bulls. And he's got a daughter, actually, Steve, that is going to be perhaps the next Lauren Jackson.
Wow, big call. Big
That is a big call, but she can play.
How tall is she?
Well, I'm not sure. For a 12-year-old, extremely tall. But she's in the crowd. She's got her Boomers gear on and she's dressed up with face paint. It's great. Great to see them. They know they're on television. Good on them.
Nielsen gets it to Mills. Backdoor play. Worthington has the ball rejected. Gets hands in. He's called for the foul after he had his shot blocked by Musa Nabapor. Now that's a pretty cool name.
I think Mark would be disappointed with that, obviously, with his shot blocked. Then to come back and double the error with a foul, he wouldn't be happy with that. The coaches want to talk it over. 5:47 left in the game. 19 points in it.
75-56, and I guess you can expect that, as you mentioned, a tough one for the Iranian team to hop off the plane, have a shoot around, and get right into it. Pretty much jumped by the Australian team. A big quarter as we check out the quarter-by-quarter score. 38, as you can see, Australia both teams progressively going down in their point production. 38, 22, 17 for Australia, and Iran with a respectable 22 in the first quarter, but then 19 and then 13 in the third.
I think that's the way the series is going to go too. I think we're going to have probably our highest scoring game here in game one, and then as each team figures the other one out, it's going to get more and more difficult to score. And it's not unlike an Olympic tournament where you get to see all the teams. You know, the coaches scout them all, and then come the real pointy end of the tournament in the crossovers. You know, every team's almost figured everything out, and it's almost worth your weight in gold to have a little something special that you save for that special occasion where an absolute bucket is needed in a tournament that can mean one play can mean the world.
I'll give you a chance to think about this. Next time we get a break, I want to hear what your favorite game was when you represented Australia. And you get a chance to think about it.
Well, it's an easy one for me, but it's a selfish one. But I've got two, though. I want to talk about two.
Oh, you'll be getting a chance right now. Nice drive by number 10, Ahmed Afaq, as he puts the ball on the floor. Nice floater. That one on.
Great touch off
James Harvey.
Well, Steve, my favourite game has got to be the 1990 World Championships, in which I had the dubious honour of playing against Oscar Schmidt, and he'd been running hot for the tournament. I managed to shut him down and score a couple myself, which I think put us in the top half of the bracket. It was a big game against Brazil.
You didn't need much time to think about that one.
I can remember it like yesterday.
Davadi will slow it down. Maddie Nielsen with the reach-in foul. I remember a game in particular, I believe it was the World Championships, where you're playing against the U.S. So we get another look at the foul. And you set a back screen on Karl Malone, a cracking one too, and he said something to you. It was a good screen. What did he say?
He said, how about coming over to my house for lunch? He said, you're no longer on my Christmas card list, pal. Offensive foul. Joe Ingles takes a dive a little bit, but he did have position.
That's his fifth. And he got into foul trouble, got 4 early. Oshin Saka. And help me out with this one, Andrew.
Sahakian. It's not Ocean's 12, it's Ocean Sahakian.
Yeah, but he wears number 12.
I know. Maybe we could just say that, Ocean's 12. I don't think I have to worry about him for the rest of the evening.
Sahakian. I was trying to get a little help from
Actually, that game that you just reminded me about with Carl Malone and myself when we exchanged pleasantries, in that game is the game that Shane Heal decided to tell Charles Barkley, "I don't like your haircut, mate."
I believe Shane Heal told Gary Payton. Gary Payton nicknamed the glove for his good defense. That was the game that Shane Heal also told him that I think you've got a hole in that glove.
I would believe it. I think from memory, the hammer had 30-odd that game on Gary Payton's head for most of it. And in fact, I remember Hammer talking to him after the game because they had exchanged a few pleasantries as well. And Gary was very complimentary of Shane. And Shane just said, "Hey, you can't defend me, don't get on the floor, you know." Or something to that effect. I won't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Matty Nielsen will bring it up, and Dave Barlow run the point for Australia. 6'9". Hands it off back to Barlow from Worthington. Former teammates when Barlow played for the Kings. Shot clock down to 0.
I think no one made Joe aware that the clock had been running down there. Interestingly, that Barlow's at the point because I believe that the Melbourne Tigers are going to run Barlow at the point a lot next season, which is very interesting and very tough for any guard, any smaller point guard to defend.
Worthington forces a turnover. James Harvey is fouled by Babak Paknajad.
Well, this new generation of boomers, including this group here and the Bogan and Anderson still to come in, they're going to have their own memories to make because you just jogged quite a few more from my old brain, and I'm sure Brett Maher and Mark Brad can share a few more with you over the coming Game 2 and Game 3. Two fantastic former Australian players. Mark, a commentator already with Fox Sports, but Booby, or Brett Maher as we know him, is going to have a crack at it on Wednesday, and I'm sure, Brett, if you're listening, mate, it's not easy.
Brett Maher, he's such a humble man. All he's accomplished in his career, both with Australia and, of course, in the domestic league with the Adelaide 36ers, he could be having a blinder and just wouldn't want to say a whole lot about him, how he felt while he is scorching opponents, hitting those fall-away shots from the baseline. So it'd be interesting trying to extract a few stories from him.
If you want to know an interesting piece of trivia about Brett Maher, is that before the game, he will not shake your hand with his right hand. He taps it with his left to keep that hot hand. I used to try and run up and rub it. He's superstitious about that.
Joe Ingles.
Upstairs very quickly.
Very explosive. Iran, there's another deflection. Nikkhah been in the paint all night. Davadi. That'll stay with Iran.
The Iranian team better keep an eye on each other because I think bit more communication on what offense they're running wouldn't go astray.
Paknajad not happy with his teammates for popping to him side the chops. Got a timeout on the floor. Lead charge to Iran. Making sure this thing is completely get out of hand in the last 3.5 minutes here. Refocus on what they're trying to accomplish in this game.
The Boomers are up 21. 3:24 to play. I think that a lot can be taken out of this first game by both teams. I think obviously Australia is going to understand that Haddadi forms such a big part of their offense, but they've had great contributions from Nikkhah as well as their point guard Kamani. I think he's had a pretty good game so far, pretty solid. He got lit up a little bit by CJ Bruton, but I think he's had a pretty solid performance for most of the night, and certainly from the Australian team. You know, Barlow was an outstanding first quarter contributor. CJ Bruton in the third quarter, and you could probably throw a blanket over the rest of them in terms of their contribution tonight. So the selection selection for Brian Gorshin and Brendan Joyce and Gordon McLeod is not going to be made any easier by these guys. But I think there's a few guys out there that you can pretty much say are well and truly booked. But there's going to be some disappointing guys out there, unfortunately, and that's unfortunately sport, and that's unfortunately elite sport. Somebody does have to miss out.
Don't forget about the Australian Boomers, who are not here for strong contention. And of course, the obvious one is Andrew Bogut. But like you said, David Anderson.
Well, he's a lock. He is a lock. I would love to see Australia start Bogut, Anderson, Nielsen, and a backcourt of, say, CJ and maybe Barlow to make the biggest lineup of all time, I think, in the front court. That would be an impressive average height across the board.
But it's not just big without merit. All those guys can hold those positions, pull them off. Worthington with the offensive rebound. You're not just starting a 6'9" shooting guard, Dave Barlow, because he can handle it.
Yeah. I mean, that's his natural position. Yeah.
Nielsen into the middle, loses the handle. Worthington gets off the jumper anyway. Did he call the bank?
The bank is open on a Monday night for Mark Worthington. I don't think he'll be unhappy with that, but I'm not sure that was planned.
He sure ran back like he meant it.
Yeah. Great hands by Joe Ingles. I really like Joe. I think he's representative of the next generation of players. Long, lean. He can really, he's like a Doberman on the court.
Haddadi with the left. Barlow's big frame pulls down another rebound. Here comes Worthington. Kicks it back to Barlow. Nielsen hands it off to Joe Ingles. Haddadi prevented him from getting it, got an arm bar on it. Get another look.
All right, we're going to start a little late. We're going to get a little bit of action in with 2 minutes remaining. We're going to do it here. Are you ready on the
Back to live play. Afag, Nikkhah. Shigoni into the game for the first time. 3-point shot. I'm sorry, that's Daboudi. And a bucket by Mark Worthington.
Well, that started down the other end when number 14, Nikkhah, gave Wortho one across the chops there. And I saw Wortho look back and take out his pen and pencil and say, number 14, you're in for it. And then coming down the other end, he's made the layup whilst getting fouled. 2 points and the bonus. That's poetry in motion right there.
And he stared him down too, didn't he?
That's sweep advantage for Mark Worthington.
Nothing like backing it up with a score on the other end. Nikkhah. Trap. Giving Iran some trouble. Daboudi. Nielsen. Daboudi. He's already hit a 3. Big
From
fella.
the corner. That never looked like this.
Haddadi with some interesting spin on the ball. Comes from that elbow starting out.
I think Shane Warne would be happy with that.
Harvey with a baseline. Fall away is no good. Daboudi.
Very nice. We got time for a run. Here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Daboudi wasted no time making an impact in this game. Hitting a 3. And doing the handling. Ball's knocked away illegally by Mark Worthington.
Very nice.
Haddadi will go to the line for 2. Plenty of touches for the big Iranian center.
Well, Haddadi's had a massive impact on the game. And it was no secret, we talked about it in the pre-game, that he would be a focal point for them, and he has not let them down.
Well, of course, a couple of players aren't able to suit up. They can't play their entire roster, so we're still looking forward to seeing Jabba Rusbahani, 7'6", That's just crazy.
He is big. However, I don't think he's anywhere near the same sort of skill level that Haddadi is, and that's probably good for the Boomers.
Nielsen with a strong drive, and he's fouled quite heavily. He'll go to the line. And here come the faithfuls here at Challenge Stadium. They're on their feet. And when the wind blows, these people here in Perth will get on their feet. You gotta love that.
No, it's great. Lockie Reed does a fantastic job of stirring the crowd into a frenzy. But I think they enjoy their basketball. It's great that the Australian team's here in Perth, and certainly from any West Australian point of view, we love watching our national team play.
Should be one more possession after this. Najad, no good. Worthington pulls it down. Defensive foul. Joe Ingles. Foul's on number 20. Arin Daboudi. Doing some quick slide. Felt like he was pushed off. 85-66. A lot of good signs for Australia. A lot of tough decisions have to be made by the coaching staff. Ryan Gorge and Gordy McLeod and Brendan Joyce. Jingles with both free throws. This should be the last one. Daboudi to Nikkhah. Haddadi with the turnaround jumper. That's good. And Worthington. The buzzer's no good. And in the end, the Australia Post Boomers 87. The Iran national team 68 here on Fox Sports. Plenty more from these two teams as we finish game one of a three-game series. Game two will be Wednesday night in Adelaide, distinctive homes dome. And if game three will be in Melbourne, the Cage, the State Netball and Hockey Center, home of the Melbourne Tigers. So plenty more basketball between these two teams. And Andrew Vlahoff has C.J. Bruton on court now.
Third quarter there. What have you guys learned about Iran in this game so far?
Well, you know, they're very big. They know how to put the ball on the floor. They're great at passing it and filling in behind, and they're good at crashing the boards. I think you know, we can take something away from the series and go and prepare for the Olympics.
What about the big fella, number 15, Haddadi? He was impressive tonight, inside, outside. He dropped the three in the corner. That was surprising, but he's obviously the focal point for them.
Yeah, he is. He's outstanding. You know, I look at him like he's Chris Anstey of our league. You know, I told Chris maybe you need to recruit him. You know, but you know, he's very big. He's very talented. He knows how to move around the basket and get the guys open shots. So he's something that we're going to have to deal with.
Let's talk about David Barlow. He came out like a house on fire, dropped 3 or 4 threes, I think, in the first quarter. He was impressive too. Has he booked his ticket?
I think he has. You know, he's played at the World Championships, and I think you know, he learned a lot. He came back from knee surgery, won a title with the Tigers. He's real focused. He's my roommate, but I also know that, you know, how dedicated he is to the game. And I think that, you know, just throughout the time I've been with the Boomers this year, he's probably been the bright spot of the whole camp for the last 2 weeks.
What's the feeling amongst the group right now? I mean, this is your first game or your first step in the road to Beijing. You've got a fairly hectic schedule coming out. You've got these guys in Adelaide and then again in Melbourne. Then you've got New Zealand. Then you're going to a tournament in Croatia, and a tournament in Athens, I think, and then a tournament in China. That's a lot of games.
It definitely is. I think right now it prepares us for the Olympics, but it's also, as you said, a lot of games coming up. It's a grind. And as you know, going to the Olympics, how tough it is to back up. When you're playing someone like Lithuania, then you turn around, you play Argentina. Hey, these are the sort of this is the build-up for that, and I think that will prepare us to know that you can't let your guard down. Whoever you play against, and you've got to be on your game and your P's and Q's every time you step on the floor.
Now, you've been to a lot of international basketball already. You just mentioned Lithuania and Argentina. Are they two of the teams that you think are going to be pressing for a medal?
I definitely, I think they are. You know, when you've won an Olympic gold medal, and teams that have always been there knocking at the door, you know, and I think right now, you know, we're trying to book ourselves a ticket to that same area. And with Bogan and with Dave Anderson still to come in, we still got to find a cohesion within the group right now.
CJ, fantastic game. Congratulations, mate. Enjoy the win, but get ready for Wednesday. Steve, over to you, mate.
Well, the Australian Boomers just too strong for the Iranian national team, 87-68. Some good basketball by the Australian Boomers. Some tough decisions that have to be made by Brian Goorjian and his staff. But a very solid performance, of course, by David Barlow and, of course, Chris Anstey. We talk about some of the locks on the team, and they had some great performances. They looked so comfortable out there. CJ Bruton as well, doing his job of distributing the basketball, also knocking shots down. Dave Barlow had the hot hand early in the game, and then also he got a lot of help from everybody else. As we check out the match stats, that is what we've got. 30 for 67 from the field for the Australian Boomers, and they played a lot of people, and they played a lot of different combinations, so I'm sure they're going to work that out over the next couple of games, Andrew.
Well, the three-point shooting certainly cooled off in the second half. It was a great effort by both teams in the first half, but the defense picked up, the shots became tougher, and they didn't make anywhere near as many. Interestingly, Australia lost the rebound count, which surprises me, but certainly had a much better effort in the turnovers. They started looking after the ball in that second half, and I think got their tempo right overall.
Well, this thing is far from over. We've got two more games to go in this three-game series. Game 2 in Adelaide, as I mentioned before, at the distinctive Holmes Dome. I'll be joined by Brett Maher, and that's Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then also Game 3 will be at the Cage in Melbourne. So these guys are going to be getting their work done, that's for sure.
No worries. Thanks for everything, Steve.
All right, Andrew Vlahoff done a great job, and we'll see you for Game 2.